If you haven't heard, Intel's trying to create a lineup of discrete consumer and business grade GPUs to compete with AMD and NVidia. In this video, let's talk about everything we know about Intel's GPUs from their release date to their specs. This is Sukhjit from the HardwareHub, and let's get right into it. Now, Intel is not a traditional GPU manufacturer. They primarily make CPUs and have been designing integrated graphics for them, which has been working out well for them. Now, one of the latest Intel integrated GPUs is the Intel UHD 630, which comes on many 9000 series Intel CPUs and can handle light 1080p gaming by itself, which is definitely impressive. Now, if scaled properly, Intel definitely has the ability to create some decent mid-range GPUs. A scaled up version of this integrated GPU that has maybe 7 to 8 times more streaming processors should definitely be able to handle heavy 1080p and 1440p gaming. Right now, since we don't have any past generations to look at, it's hard to pinpoint the exact performance that we should expect. Higher end GPUs like those for 4K gaming might not be available in the first generation, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're delayed and launched in the second generation of Intel GPUs. Now, speaking of launch date, we will likely see the Intel Xe GPUs revealed around June of this year, and they should be available around the 2020 holiday season. Now, there have been some leaks that Intel is behind their schedule and they might be delaying their first generation of GPUs until 2020, but I think that's pretty unlikely because Intel's planning on launching their new next generation Tiger Lake CPUs with the Intel Xe graphics. So I think that a 2020 launch should be expected, although it will likely be later in the year than sooner. Now, Intel has told the public that there will be 3 microarchitectures for their GPUs. There's going to be the XeLP, the XeHP, and the XeHPC. The LP series will likely be low powered as the abbreviation suggests, and they'll be great for things like upgrading pre-builds to get some good gaming performance. The HP lineup will likely be the mainstream side of things and should be able to handle 1080p, 1440p, and maybe even light 4K gaming at the higher end. The HPC lineup will probably function as the high performance section that has GPUs for 4K gaming and workstation tasks like rendering and machine learning. Pricing among these 3 lineups are once again hard to determine exactly. However, they will likely be within the ranges that I'm showing on screen right now. The LP lineup, as the performance suggests, is likely going to be under $100 or included as integrated graphics with Intel CPUs. The HP lineup will likely be from $100 to $500, which is where the majority of AMD and NVIDIA's mainstream gaming cards are sold at. The HP cards will definitely be targeted at AMD and NVIDIA's 1080p and 1440p offerings like the RX 580, GTX 1650 Super, and RX 5700 XT. The HPC series, as you would expect, is likely going to be past the $500 range and is mainly going to be competing with NVIDIA GPUs like the RTX 2080 Ti and the Titan lineup. Now, Intel's Xe GPUs will likely also be featuring GDDR6 memory because they provide much better value for the money. The high-end Xe GPUs like past the $500 range in the HPC series, they might have HBM memory depending on what their intended audience is. So if there's like a workstation GPU in the high-end lineup, then they might have HBM memory just because the extra bandwidth might come in handy for workstation tasks. Meanwhile, if in the high-end lineup they have a gaming card, they might go with GDDR6 just because it's going to make the card cheaper and they'll likely be able to provide more VRAM, which is going to be more beneficial for gaming tasks. Now, you're probably also wondering, will these new Intel GPUs include ray tracing, which has been the buzz lately, especially with NVIDIA's launch with the RTX series. Now, I think that it's pretty likely that Intel's going to try to implement ray tracing, but I would not expect the implementation to be very good at all. Once again, ray tracing is one of those features where it will likely get better over time, so I wouldn't really have high hopes out of the gate. However, I do think that it will be present just because AMD is including it on their next lineup and NVIDIA is really marketing it as a big feature. Now, overall, the competitiveness of the first and second generation Xe GPUs will likely not be very great. This is just out of the fact that they'll be brand new architectures and they'll likely not be very optimized and will likely have driver issues. This is a completely new architecture, so it's expected that developers will likely not be able to take full advantage of the GPUs until a couple generations. However, in the long run, Intel will provide another option for consumers, and I'm sure in the future they'll have the capability of giving AMD and NVidia a run for their money. So how good do you guys think the Intel GPUs are going to be? Do you think they're going to be able to make an impact on the gaming market? Or do you think it's going to be a couple generations before they start making an impact? Let me know in the comments down below. I also want to quickly mention that there are links to more articles in the description, so if you want to check those out to get more information about Intel Xe GPUs, you can check the description down below. But yeah guys, that's all for today. If you liked the video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please dislike the video and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.